Cinema Shogun here, and over the last month or so, I reported to you all several times about this story where these kids, they survived a deadly plane crash, and then they were lost in the Amazon jungle. But luckily, by some type of miracle, these kids, ages 13 to 11 months old, these 4 kids survived out in the Amazon jungle for over 40 days. About a week ago, they were found. And ever since then, I have been wondering, how in the world did they find these kids? I mean, you got to really think about how big the Amazon jungle is. People go missing every day, and they vanish without a trace. Imagine how hard it would be to find these kids in a jungle. And I was wondering, how? What did they use? Did they use some type of, drones that maybe honed in on these kids' location? Did they use heat vision to see them moving through the jungle? What type of equipment did they use? What did they use to find these kids? Well, it turns out they did use something to find these kids, and what they used is drugs. I kid you not. They used psychedelics to help them find these kids in the jungle. I want to go ahead and dive right into this article because this really caught me by surprise. Before I dive in, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. It really helps this channel to grow. And we are on the road to 100K. We should be there soon. All you got to do is share this video and hit that like button. And let's go ahead and dive right in because this is trippy. No pun intended. The weary indigenous men gathered at their base camp, nestled among towering trees and dense vegetation that form a disorienting sea of green. They sensed that their ancestral land, Mother Jungle, was unwilling to let them find the 4 kids who had been missing since their charter plane crashed weeks earlier in a remote area in southern Colombia within the jungle. Indigenous volunteers and military crews had found signs of hope. A baby bottle, half-eaten fruit, dirty diapers strewn across a wide swatch of rainforest. The men were convinced the children had survived, but punishing rain's harsh terrain and the passing of time had diminished their spirits and drained their stamina. The weak of body, the weak of mind, of faith, does not make it out of this jungle. Day 39 was do or die for the kids and for the search teams. That night at camp, Manuel Ranoke, father of the 2 youngest kids, searched and reached out for one of the most sacred rituals of the indigenous groups of the Amazon, ayahuasca, a bitter tea made of plants native to the rainforest. For centuries, the hallucinogenic cocktail has been used as a cure for all ailments by people in Colombia, Peru, Ecuador, and Brazil. Henry Guerrero, a volunteer who had joined the search for the children's home, or from the children's home village, said that his aunt prepared the ayahuasca for the group. They believed that it would induce visions that would lead them to the kids. I told them, there's nothing to do here. We will not find them with the naked eye. The last resource is to take ayahuasca, Guerrero said. The trip really takes place in very special moments. It is something very spiritual. Ranoke sipped, and the men kept watch for a few hours. When the psychedelics effect passed, he told them that it didn't work. Some searchers were ready to leave, but the next morning, 40 days after the crash, an elder reached for what little was left of the ayahuasca, and he drank it. Some people take it to connect with themselves, cure illnesses, or even heal a broken heart. Elder Jose Rubio was convinced it would eventually help find the kids. Rubio dreamed for some time. He started to vomit, which is a common side effect of ayahuasca. This time, he said, it had worked. In his visions, he saw the kids. He told Guerrero, "We will find the children today." And then, just a couple of hours later, a soldier heard via radio that a rescue dog had spotted the kids in a small clearing just 3 miles from the crash site, an area just 66 feet from where the nearly 200-person search teams had previously passed. Leslie, Solini, Tien, and Kristen, who were noticeably thinner and covered in scratches and insect bites, were airlifted out the dense forest and rushed to health professionals. The siblings had survived 40 days by collecting water in a soda bottle and eating cassava flour, fruit, and seeds. They were found with 2 small bags holding clothes, a towel, a flashlight, 2 phones, and a music box. They were the sole survivors of the May 1st crash. Now, isn't that trippy? You know, here I am. I was envisioning like soldiers propelling down from helicopters, big machetes, chopping through the jungle, fighting off jaguars, having to deal with giant tarantulas. I was thinking the most, you know what I mean? I was thinking this was some next level Steve Irwin type-ish. But no, these guys just decided, hey, let's all sit around and let's get high. And maybe, just maybe, we'll find those damn kids. And it worked. It worked. They did the ayahuasca, and everyone, all of the young bucks, they were like, man, it didn't work. We didn't get high enough. We couldn't find the kids. So the elder came in, and he was like, give me that stuff. We will find the kids today. And the kids were found a couple of hours later. Now, the real question is this. Did the ayahuasca help y'all find these kids? Or should we really be looking at the dog as the hero? Because the dog is who found the kids, not necessarily the people. Now, the people, they predicted that they would find them that day, and I guess they were going kind of down the right path, but ultimately the dog is who found these kids. Now, for all we know, the dog may have gotten a little ayahuasca as well. So who knows what that dog is on. But I find this to be really interesting. I've heard a lot about ayahuasca and different psychedelics and how they can benefit people in some ways. You know what I mean? Sometimes people have these really deep spiritual experiences with these hallucinogens, if you will. And another weird thing is often people report seeing the same entities. So even though there have been people for decades, centuries, all over the world taking this stuff, all of them have some type of shared experience when they get high, which makes me think that maybe this stuff unlocks a different level of consciousness that we can't unlock on our own, or maybe we used to be able to unlock this on our own, but now we can't. I don't know, but I do think there is something to be said about these entities that people see when they take these hallucinogens. I really wonder what that's like. I've never done ayahuasca before, and I probably never will, although I'm not necessarily opposed to it. It's just not something that I would want to do recreationally. If I was out in the jungle about to fight the predator or something, yeah, go ahead and give me all the ayahuasca you can find. Let's go ahead and have a party. But, you know, just on a regular day, I definitely wouldn't want to do this stuff. But one other thing I want to touch on before I leave here, the fact that they had this whole entire search team, 200 men, and they're out here, and don't get me wrong, they did a hell of a job trying to find these kids, but they're out here almost giving up after 40 days. They've reached their wits' end. They think that it's over. There's no way they're going to find these kids. Meanwhile, these are a bunch of grown adults out here. They're not lost. They got food, water, you name it. Meanwhile, the kids are out there surviving better than the military that was out there looking for them. I'm telling you, these kids are something else. I know that at that age, I wouldn't have lasted more than a couple of days. Okay? A crocodile probably would have gotten me. And that's just facts. Let me know your thoughts, though, down in the comments below. Does this make you feel any differently about psychedelics? Have you ever researched into psychedelics and ayahuasca and the effects that it has on people? Does this surprise you? Let me know your feelings down below, because I'm still kind of like, damn, I don't even know what to say about this story. But it's really cool, and I'm glad these kids were found. And hopefully we hear more about their experience in the future, because, man, I can't imagine how they survived out there in the rain, the wilderness, the jungle, animals. Oh, man, you name it. But, yeah, let me know your thoughts down below. While you're down there, hit the thumbs up, hit that subscribe, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all in the next video.